Pisces 29, a prism. When light passes through a prism, it travels at different speeds. The different wavelengths that comprise life moves at different speeds through a material, and the material slows down certain colors more than other colors. So the other side of the prism is what we see as a rainbow. And we can see in this example that the operation of light, let's call this divine light, is strongly affected, substantively affected by the material through which it passes. In other words, let's say our bodies, or our characteristics, our personality, us. So when light passes through us, it shines into the world differently. Each of us shines a different color into the world, a different blend of colors. So the first thing for us to actually kind of acknowledge and observe is that everything is different from everything else. There is such diversity in the living world. It's mind-boggling. There are so many species of every type of thing, and so many different versions within each species. There is no exception within the human kingdom. Each of us is a very different being. We shine God's light into the world in our own way. The two messages which come from this is, first of all, apply that to yourself. Your take on life is yours, so make it known. Don't copy anybody else's. Make your way of being known to the world in the full faith that that's an aspect of God's love shining through you. Don't hide your light under a bushel, in other words. Shine God's light in your own way, in your own colorful blend. And the other mystery here is to acknowledge that everyone else is doing the same thing. So there's no need here, no wisdom in being judgmental about another person, because they are shining their light differently from yours. Now, in the operation of this principle, where lots and lots of people are all seeing reality differently, and those of us that try to be unjudgmental and accepting towards other people, we're not necessarily always in the majority. So you will meet people that consider you to be wrong, mainly because you're not like them and the people that they've chosen to be with, who are like them. Because we're different from the other person's version of how you should be, there's going to be judgment about that. They're going to think that wrong, or at least different, is wrong and wrong is bad. You can observe this in the world everywhere. Now, to guard against that, we have to be firm. We have to be firm in our principles. We have to know exactly what color we are shining and be clear about that. The principles by which we live guide that light into the world. Certain things we don't do. We will not hurt somebody, for example. We will not steal something, for example. We decided not to do that in our lives because we've received guidance that that's the appropriate behavior, and also because it feels wrong. We have a conscience. It doesn't feel right when we do such things as that. These are clear. But what about, are you right or left, red or blue? That's not so clear cut, is it? What about your opinions of other matters like literature and music and subtle things of almost no consequence? These things are entirely for you to decide to shine into the world. And the teaching, I think, in Pisces 29 is that we're required to make up our minds about that. If we don't, then we're subject to the pushing and pulling of somebody else who has made up their mind. And this is poor strategy for one who wants to establish a firm identity. We make our identity clear into the world by our choices. And if we do not have a strong identity, if we do not make that identity known through our choices, we cannot discover the truth in life. We cannot discover the truth of who we are. And so we can't discover the truth of what life is and what God is. All of these things are in alignment. So being authentic, true to yourself, is an incredibly important aspect of our spiritual progression. That necessarily means we will be different from other people in our lives, and they unconsciously would try and draw us into their way of seeing things. Typically, very few people are happy to just live with the differences. Most people are trying to persuade the world to be the way they'd like it to be, one way or another. But that's not wisdom. That shows a lack of maturity. A mature and spiritually developed individual is really strong about their clarity of identity. I'm like this. I do that in these situations. These are my principles. I do not break them. This is a strong person. These are the qualities of leadership and command. Now, if you want to be strong, then you need to be clear about your identity. And to be clear about your identity, you have to make choices that reflect your principles, and never make any other choices if you want to be really strong. Just stick to your principles, come what may.